welcome back to Locarno. We are ready. We are live here today for the quarterfinals, the semi-finals and the finals of the knockout sprint in this first round of the Orienteering World Cup in 2026. We've already had two races here in this very southern part of Switzerland, and we're in the Italian-speaking region. And we've already had two fantastic races going around the streets. But we're back in the same arena today in the heart of the old town here in Locarno for what is going to be some brilliant head-to-head racing. We actually already had the qualification for these races. That actually took place during the sprint race on Friday. So the top 36 men and the top 36 women have been advanced through to the knockout stages of the competition today. After the relay yesterday, they actually stood right up by the finish line and picked the heat that they were going to be in. You know, depending on the order that they finished, they could decide which heat that they've been in. So they've had their own decisions to make to pick this out here. So thank you for joining us this morning to talk through all of the excitement. We'll see 12 quarterfinals go off, 6 for the men and 6 for the women, and they're always so exciting. They're always very, very different. It's a bit cooler this morning, 20 degrees, but it's going to warm up into the mid-20s throughout the afternoon this morning. Similar conditions to the last couple of days. Quite warm conditions for many of the runners out there today, and great views from the top of the funicular railway into the town. And we will be heading up some of the slopes, not quite as high as this, as high as our drone shot, but they will be getting some climb in on today's courses. And it's a really, really hectic schedule for the athletes today. They will, if they make it all the way through to the final, they'll have the 3 races, about 6 to 8 minute winning time for each, and they really come very, very thick and fast. So if we're looking at the quarterfinals, then 15 controls for the athletes here, and you can see it's the same course for the men and for the women. 25 meters of climb. And the knockout sprint, they do not know what they're going to expect. They've got 3 options that they could basically have. All 6 athletes could have the same course. So they've got the same controls in the same order. They could have an aspect of runner's choice. So before the start, they pick which controls they're going to go to. Or they have a series of loops, and we'll wait and see which ones are going to be employed by the course setters over the course of today. These are the start lists for the quarterfinals. So as you can see, 6 runners in each quarterfinal. It's only the top 3 that are going to advance to the semi-finals. We have 3 semi-finals this lunchtime, and then the top 2 from there make the final 6 to try and battle it out to be crowned the winner of the knockout sprint, the first one in this Orienteering World Cup. So those are the women who've been advanced, and here are the men. They will start a little bit later on today. And a reminder, they have picked their heats. The men's quarterfinals are quite evenly spaced, actually, but the men's competition today is going to be super interesting because none of the top 3 from the European Championships were able to qualify, and not having good enough races on Friday, and none of the top 3 from the World Championships are here either. But we will get ready for this first quarter-final here. They've got their maps, all of the 6 women lining up, and for me, this is the toughest heat, I think. We've got Teresa Iturier from Czechia. She was 3rd in the World Cup final knockout sprint. Pia Youngvik is the European sprint champion. She's the knockout silver medalist. She was 2nd on Friday. We've also got Grace Malloy there in from Great Britain. She was 2nd at the World Cup final knockout. And here they go. They begin their routes. They can see the start kite there, and then they all have a common first control. And then we have got loops then on this quarterfinal. Your first chance to look at the map today. We've got 3 loops that they will take. So, of course, they will all do these in different orders. They will all split up. I'm going to call the northern one the streets loop. We've got the eastern one. That's around the castle. That's particularly exciting. As you can see, already different routes for the first control, and they'll soon realise that they've got different ways to go here. So some going towards the left, they'll be going out on that castle loop. Of course, you could take that route as Pia Young-Vik has done and go down towards the western loop, which is, it was some cloisters, it's now a school, so I'm going to call it the school loop. Vilma von Krusenfreund and Grace Malloy both on this castle loop. So Vilma von Krusenfreund going through the castle, you've got a few steps to go through. They've opened up a few different passages through the castle. Grace Malloy is going around the bottom, and she will, that first control for her is on some ruined walls. It's quite interesting to go up to that one particularly. So Fanny de la Haye, possibly Vilma von Krusenfreund as well, doing the northern loop, the streets loop. And the course setter has estimated that they are about the same in terms of the running distances and the running times between all of these loops. But it's, I mean, we're not going to know who is in the lead until the last time they come to this central control, and then we're going to get a true picture. And then we actually have a really interesting route choice from that central control to the next one, which is going to prove super interesting. So the GPS struggling a little bit here in and amongst the buildings, but we certainly get a sense of who's on the next loop, and we should see the runners coming in here. This is Pia Young-Vik, Teresa Roturier coming in first from Czechia. That's Pia Young-Vik, the European sprint champion. Oh, just changing which way she's going to go there. So those two currently leading. And obviously this splits up the athletes. It means they can't rest. They absolutely have to keep pushing here. So I think those two were on the western loop, as you can see there. So maybe that seems to be the faster one. It's certainly one of the simpler ones to execute, no steps or anything like that. Hopefully we'll see Grace Malloy next out. She's just done the castle loop. And as we can see, Pia Young-Vik and Teresa Roturier doing different routes. Whoa, so much difficulty there. There's Fanny de la Haye from France coming through this central control as well. And Vilma von Krusenfreund just down a little bit compared to the French women here. So they do... And now they will split up. So if you were on the same loop as somebody else the first time round, you now split up and do differently to the other person, because there's basically 6 options. There's 6 variations you can do here. There's 6 runners, so every runner is going to do a slightly different variation. They're all going to do these in a different order, but crucially they all do the same controls in the same direction. So overall it'll work out, I promise you. If it looks a bit complicated, they'll do all 3 loops, different orders, but they will do the controls, they will go in the same direction for the loops. So they're all on their second loop out of 3 at the moment, and we'll see them back into the finish very shortly. So in fact, that first loop, so the western one, the school one, did seem to be 30 seconds quicker than all the other loops. Then Grace Malloy and Anna Grell doing the castle loop seemed to be the next fastest, and then Fanny de la Haye and Vilma von Krusenfreund were last. So the one that Grace Malloy is on now, the green line, does seem to be the faster of the 3 loops. There's Teresa Roturier though through, and Pia Young-Vik both crossing through this central control. They have done their 2 loops. Teresa Roturier, 3rd place at the World Cup final. Pia Young-Vik, she's a European silver medalist in this knockout, and they're the only 2 through at the moment. So Grace Malloy should approach from the left very soon. Here she comes. So in 3rd place, 26 seconds down. Now she's got that northern loop still to go. So back to the GPS tracking. You can see Pia Young-Vik doing the castle loop here. Teresa Roturier doing the northern loop, different routes, loads and loads of different routes to go here. Some steps to be involved as well. So that was Fanny de la Haye and Anna Grell both through. Vilma von Krusenfreund are not here yet, but all these loops are slightly different lengths, so we'll wait and see for the Swede to come through. And the 3 loops, all quite distinctive, difficulties here. Quite distinctive in their characteristics. So the eastern one, the castle loop, you've got to go up and down quite a few steps. Everything seems to come at you really quickly. There's a few route choices. You have to go quite a long way off the straight line, especially the 2nd and 3rd control in that loop. The middle one, the northern one, obviously the last 2 controls in there, you could go all the way around the north side of the buildings, all the way around the south side of the buildings as well. super interesting here. And then where Anna Grohl is, you can go all the way around the outside of the building or up as well. So now this is the last time they'll make it to this control. So now we get a chance to really see who's in the lead. And Pia Young-Vic is looking really good. We didn't see there the punch of Teresa Roturier, but she has also punched that control. Here she is. Here's the Czech athlete. These are the top two at the moment. Pia Young-Vic and Teresa Roturier both punching there. Nobody else punched yet. And there's an interesting route choice through here to the 14th control. There's loads and loads of barriers in the way, and this is super, super interesting. Here comes Grace Malloy. And this is third place here. She's 30 seconds down, and it's top three to qualify. Here's Fanny Delahaye from France. And Anna Grohl has already punched that control. She just comes past on the picture, so that's fourth. And the Frenchwoman here in fifth. A surprise for me to see Wilma von Krusenfreiner in sixth place, but she was... Maybe she was part of the big sprint finish between second and third for Sweden, and it was absolutely incredible to see that. But here's first and second, so they're going into the arena. They've got to go back up to the 14th control first, and then we'll head back down into the arena. So one last climb for these two, but they have got a gap of about 26 seconds over the rest of the field. So here we are on the GPS tracking. That is the lead held by the top two. Clear lead for Teresa Roturier and Pia Young-Vic. And now they'll be able to get a chance to see what the gap is that they have over the rest of the field, because it's the top three to qualify here. And will Grace Malloy come up the slope next? She absolutely does. Top three to qualify. And we've got Pia Young-Vic and Teresa Roturier coming into the finish now. These two were the favourites, second and fourth in Friday's sprint. And they're going to jog in across the line. A comfortable victory for Pia Young-Vic, who will, of course, want to try and take a medal here at this knockout. A nice sprint into the nice little jog into the line. No worries there for either Pia Young-Vic or Teresa Roturier. And Grace Malloy coming down into the finish very soon. You can see Fanny Delahaye. We also had Anna Grohl in the mix as well, but it looks like Grace Malloy has got a big enough lead. Yeah, she's going to comfortably qualify. So Grace Malloy from Great Britain is the third qualifier in this heat. No sign of fourth place at the moment. It'll be either the Austrian Anna Grohl or it will be Fanny Delahaye from France. But Teresa Roturier, Pia Young-Vic and Grace Malloy all making it through to semi-final number one. And for me, a surprise move from Wilma von Krusenfreiner. I thought she might have been more in contention. I thought there might have been 4 women vying for 3 places in this one. But maybe some mistakes out there, maybe just so much energy burnt off in the sprint relay yesterday. Anyway, very quickly got to move on to quarterfinal number 2. We've got a big favourite, I think, in this one, and Sanna Fast, as you can see there, already doing very well, running for Sweden. This is Malin Egvik Christiansen as well, 5th place in the World Champs in the individual sprint, and those two have already done their first loop. And in there with a lead at the moment. They were on the shortest loop though first. And here are the next two. This is Venla Hayu and Anna Isabel Toledo. And now they'll split up and go different ways. So they are 22 seconds down, these two. And here is the last pair, having done the Northern Loop. Victoria Marg and Sandra Grosberger both coming through as well, and now they will split up, and one will do the Western Loop and one will do the Eastern Loop here. Let's have a little look as they split up. For this is they're on their second loop now. So clear for me that the Western Loop, the school loop, is the fastest here, followed by the Eastern Loop, which is around the castle, and then the Northern Loop is the slowest, the one in the streets and the alleyways. But obviously it's not until we get everybody having done all 3 loops that we really find out what's the fastest. And actually after that first loop, each pair really very close together. We didn't see that in the first quarterfinal at all. But for me, Sanna Fast, the big favourite in this heat. She was 7th in the individual sprint, her first ever individual sprint on an international level for Sweden. She has run a knockout though before, making it to the semi-finals, and she looked very, very strong in the kind of raw pace-wise in terms of both races in this World Cup. For me, she just needs to sharpen up on her technique a little bit, but will she have done that today? And here she comes. So in the lead here, Sanne Fast, after nearly 4 minutes of running. Through here and on to the last loop. So Sanne Fast from Sweden. Here comes Malin Egervik Christiansen from Denmark. Into this central point as well, ready to go on the third and final loop. Really keeping a lot of map contact here. Here's Ana Isabel Toledo into third place. Had a great run for Spain on the first leg of the sprint relay. Victoria Marg as well, also looking good for Hungary. Hungary had a fantastic result in the sprint relay yesterday. It's a young but developing team. This looks like Sandra Grosberger from Latvia. And she will set off now on the shortest loop. So she may be in 5th place at the moment, in fact 6th place, because we missed Venlahayu coming through there. She may be in 6th, but she's got the shortest loop to go now. So too has Sandra Grosberger. So they will kind of catch up some time almost on the others. Sanne Fast has the longest loop to go now, as does Ana Isabel Toledo from Spain. You can see different route choices on that, into that first control of that northern loop. And obviously when you have the first loop, you're running head to head with somebody, you're likely to go the same ways, but then suddenly you're alone here. And what this does is it forces the athletes to really have to push it and to push their navigation and to push their speed, because you can't hold back, because you can't see what the others are doing. Where if it's a race where they've all got the same course, you can see the others. It can become a bit like a track race where everybody takes it fairly easy at the start and then absolutely goes for it towards the end. So just taking a look here, Sanne Fast, this is the lead here for Sanne Fast after all of the 3 legs, and she goes back up the hill here towards control 14, and there's loads and loads of barriers here. This could be really good for Sanne Fast. Venlahayu in second then. She had the shortest loop there and last, and she goes the different way. So this is the first opportunity for us to see those 2 different route choices in towards control number 14. And everybody else super close. So Sanne Fast and Venlahayu, then a gap, and then 4 athletes vying for that next spot. So here is Sanne Fast. Oh, she's just got to be careful there, because there's loads and loads of little barriers in the way. You've got to be very careful. She'll run down now towards the 14th control very, very shortly. She's got to go down here, take a right. In fact, she's down at the down at the bottom of in the arena now. We'll go up the slope here towards control number 14. And she knows she's got a lead. She had a lead of 15 seconds at the 13th control. But it's so hard to know how well you're doing compared to the others. And so actually she will wiggle her way through the alleyways here to drop into the 15th control. This is actually a shorter route here, because we don't see the chasers coming, so we'll have to see who's going to make it into the 3rd and final spot. So Sanne Fast, a clear lead here. She was a big favourite for me in this quarter-final, punching the last control. She looks back, she can jog into the finish, not waste any energy in this, pushing it really high in this sprint finish. So Sanne Fast qualifies into the semi-finals. Who will join her? Here comes Venlahayu from Finland. She's going to qualify, and it looks like there's a clear 3rd place there for Malin Egervik Christiansen from Denmark. And a fight now on foot between Victoria Marg and Ana Isabel Toledo. Hard to see who crosses the line first from that angle, and Sandra Grosberger just in 6th there. As you can see, photo finish between the Hungarian and the Spanish athletes. But clear in the end for Sanne Fast, then Venlahayu and Malin Egervik Christiansen. And we'll move on to quarter-final number 3. Cécile Calandre is a European champion here. She was 5th in the knockout in Uster in the World Cup final last year, will be a big favourite for here. And Natalia Gempler always does really well in these races. She was 5th in the individual sprint. And I'd say watch out for the Dane here, Hedvig Valbjørn Gudesen, who was fantastic in the first leg of the relay. But this has very different characteristics to the relay. The relay was flat and fast and fairly simple in terms of the technicality. This is anything but. It's super tricky. So here come Cécile Calandry and Natalia Gempler together here on their way for the next loop. I'm just trying to figure out which loops they had there. Here come the next pair. This is Lily Graber and Laura Robertson. So they've done the northern ones possibly. And there's the next two. There's Hedvig Valbjørn Gudesen and Mayu Oksanen splitting up here. So that the runner who you were with on that first loop, you will completely split away from, and you'll do the different loop to them on the second of the 3 loops. So splitting up now. As you can see, Lily Graber and Hedvig Valbjørn Gudesen on this school loop, the western one. We've got some barriers in place and they've opened up the doors, this kind of cloistered courtyard. Cécile Calandry's made her way past the ruins. So it's the first control on her loop, and now inside the castle. So she will run straight through the second control and then make a hairpin bend to come back for the third one. Natalia Gempler going through the car park there into her second control, and she has a choice to go around the north or the south of the streets here of the buildings. So they're on their second of the 3 loops here. This is quarterfinal number 3. Cécile Calandry and Natalia Gempler, for me, the 2 favourites to make it through here. We have Hedvig Valbjørn Gudesen from Denmark, Mayu Oksanen from Finland, Lily Graber from Switzerland, and Laura Robertson from New Zealand. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who will be the third one to qualify, if all goes to plan on paper for the top ones. That's Cécile Calandry from France, already through. This is Lily Graber from Switzerland. Natalia Gempler through there as well. Here's the Danish runner, Hedvig Valbjørn Gudesen. And after 2 of the 3 loops here, and it's, you know, some of the athletes will have more of a flow, but they've got to slow down the running in order to get the high map contact. Some of them will have more of a stop and go technique, but what the key thing is you don't want to move until you've, some of the coaches would say you don't want to move until you've got your route decided, because sometimes you could put a few steps in one direction and then that has maybe already biased you into taking one particular route when actually you should be taking the other one. So it's important sometimes just to completely stop, and the seconds will tick by in their brains and they think they've been there for ages and ages and ages, but actually look on the picture there, it's just a couple of seconds, and it's seconds worth investing when you want to get the right route choice, when you want to not make a mistake here. So this is the third of the 3 loops. And you can see Natalia Gempler, Lily Graber, both of them from Switzerland on the castle loop now. Natalia Gempler, I think, just catching up with Lily Graber there. So they have this loop last. And really the next time they get to this central point, we'll be able to see a true indication of who's in the lead. And then they've got this route choice decision to the last control. Most of the runners here have headed down towards the arena. They've headed east out of the control or southeast out of the control. It is a good option, and in fact the quickest one is to go north out of the control, or northwest even, past the car park. But here's Cécile Calandry from France. Here she comes, the European knockout champion, in the lead here, no problems at all. There's Natalia Gempler, and there's Lily Graber as well. So the top 3 here, separated by 4 seconds, now a bit of a gap. Here comes Laura Robertson, coming through the gap here. But Hedwig Valbin Goodison has got in there first, and different routes now here. Oh, a good chance for us to take a look at what it's like running through the castle here as they head up the steps. This is on the right here, just through the gap, is where the third control of the castle loop was. So a lot of the athletes have been through here already, and you can see the gap. This is 1, 2, and 3 in the picture here. Cecile Calandri, Natalia Gempler, and Lily Graeber all going through the routes now. They've got to go through a few different passageways. Here's a little alleyway cutting through here, and then they've got to go through another alleyway before dropping, or you drop then pretty much straight down to the arena, as they do here. Take a left and then head back up the hill, and these are, well, we've now got 4 women in the picture, but only 3 to qualify to the semi-final. Cecile Calandri out in front, Natalia Gempler, Lily Graeber, and then Hedwig Valbin Goodison. And the Dane is looking fast here. She's got her elbows out and she's overtaking the Swiss, leaping from 4th into 3rd place. Only 3 to qualify. As they head up to the 14th control, they can either go straight back down like Cecile Calandri is doing, or I was about to say all the others going the other way, but not quite. Natalia Gempler goes the other way. So let's wait and see what happens, because they're going to emerge into the arena from different points, and we will see them then together to see who will make it through to the semi-final. This is the closest quarterfinal so far. Here's Natalia Gempler. Great work from her, but Cecile Calandri is just ahead. And now it's going to be 3 from 4, and it looks to me like Lily Graeber is the one who's not going to make it here. Calandri in first, Gempler second, the Dane Hedwig Valbin Goodison in third, and Lily Graeber just, you see, 0.7 away. This is the closest one so far, but great work from all of those women. And for me, the Danish athlete just cutting round that corner to head up into control 14, super fast, and this is the tightest one so far. Lily Graeber just missing out. So Cecile Calandri's through, Natalia Gempler through, and Hedwig Valbin Goodison through. France, Switzerland and Denmark making it into semi-final number 2. Mayu Oksanen just crossing the line here, and then Laura Robertson from New Zealand into 6th place there, 41 seconds down. So a very close 4 there, and we move straight on to quarterfinal number 4. These quarterfinals coming thick and fast. And this one, yeah, again, quite interesting. I think we've got a clear, 2 to make it through. Andrina Benny-Minson and Hannah Lundberg, who was the winner on Friday in that individual sprint, taking her 2nd ever World Cup individual gold. She did make the final in the World Cup final. And so here they are, all on their first loop there. You can see Hannah Lundberg and Silla Gardoni have the easterly loop. This is the shortest loop here. Andrina Benjaminson ahead of Paula Gross. Oh, but that's quick from Hannah Lundberg, because she had a slightly longer loop and she's already in touch with the others. And in fact, all of these are much closer together here than we have seen previously. It's quarter-final number 4.
Challenge already towards the end, and it was not decided 3 controls before the end. It changed. Proprio così è stato visibile il ritorno back in business a 2 punti di controllo per riguardo di Hedwig Valbin Goodison. Non a caso ieri ha vinto la
Just sorting out my radio control, so bear with me for a second. I just want to make sure we've got everybody through properly. Here we go. All good, and now they're all out on their 2nd loop of 3. So Andrina Benny-Minson had a 2-second lead ahead of Paula Gross, but Hannah Lundberg came through exactly at the same point. And then Maya Sinoya and Annabelle Delaine were in 5th and 6th. They had the northern loop. But they were only 9 seconds off the lead, so very interesting here. In previous heats, the ones who'd had the school loop, so the westernmost one, they had a bit more of a lead here, but Hannah Lundberg is already coming back to the central control. She is in the lead here. She would, for me, be the favourite from this quarter-final, and a big lead at the moment. Here comes the next runner. This is the athlete from France. This is Annabelle Delaine looking very good. She also had the western route there. Maya Sino and Paula Gross just come through. This is Andrina Benjaminsen. And there for me, Silla Gardoni. So Andrina Benjaminsen would really like to have the shortest loop now here, but she's not got it. So tricky there for the Norwegian, who I would have thought would qualify here. Run a great first leg for Norway in the sprint relay, earned them a gold yesterday. But she is, for me, a much more suited to the forest orienteering. Okay, so you can see the 3 distinct loops there. Maya Sienoya and Silla Gardoni both have the shortest one, or the fastest one, as it's proved so far. Annabelle Delaine, Andrina Benjaminsen, they're in the castle, and Hannah Lundberg and Paula Gross are both in the streets at the moment. The next time they come to that central control, they will all have done all 3 loops, and then we have the route choice to be made towards the arena. Most people have been going back through the castle and then going kind of north out of the castle and down towards the streets of the arena, the Piazza Grande here in Locarno. And yeah, looks like Hannah Lundberg will be back at this central control really, really soon. Here she comes. And here is the lead for Hannah Lundberg. Straight through this control to go back through the castle, and we'll follow her here with our running camera. Oh, just got to be careful there for Annabelle Delaine. Maya Sienoya is the next one through. 14 seconds down, so a big lead there. Delaine is going to go a different... Oh, and Maya Sienoya both going a different route. That's second and third at the moment. Silla Gardoni is going to go through the castle. So those are the 3 athletes vying for second and third. Paula Gross a bit behind here. And Andrina Benjaminsen is going to be in 6th place. So it won't be a qualification for the Norwegian today. We follow Hannah Lundberg through the alleyways. She's just northeast of the control that she's kind of passing there. There's a bit of a delay on the GPS, as we normally see, but she'll be making her way down towards the arena now. Here she is. Here's the lead from Hannah Lundberg in this 4th of 6 quarterfinals. She's got to go back up here to the 14th control and then down to the arena again. Lots of different route choices being made here. Maya Sienoya going to the north, which I think looks quite good. Paula Gross, Silla Gardoni going towards the south. Annabelle Delaine, something in the middle. So I think it's going to be all about this route choice here. There you can see the different options. Silla Gardoni, Paula Gross in at the bottom of the hill at the moment. Maya Sienoya will drop in from the top. Who's going to make it to this control first? Because this is crucial. As you can see, the Hungarian and the French athlete coming up the hill there, but there's the athletes. There's only 2 more qualification spots behind Hannah Lundberg, who's already in the arena, and these 3 have now got a race on their hands. Hannah Lundberg, easy as anything crossing the line there, comfortable as you would expect, but these athletes are vying for 2 spots. Maya Sienoya is in the lead at the moment. Then it's Annabelle Delaine and Silla Gardoni is fighting for the 4th place, but she's not going to get... She will take the 4th. In fact, I think that's Delaine just ahead of Maya Sienoya. Silla Gardoni is in 4th place, not going to qualify from those 3, but a 17-second gap for Hannah Lundberg. A comfortable position for her there. We had Annabelle Delaine and Maya Sienoya getting through, and some of the more experienced names in the field, Paula Gross and Andrina Benjaminsen, not making it through. Whoa, there was the camera on the finish line with Delaine just getting it ahead of Maya Sienoya. They were clear in 2nd and 3rd position. So they join Cecilia Laundry, Natalie Gempela and Hedvig Valbin Goodison in semi-final 2. And we're going to move on to quarterfinal number 5 of 6. And all of these quarterfinals, the same routes, but always run very differently. Different outcomes when they come towards the finish line. And this one, Vera Klemetinen and Victoria Heistad Bjornstad will finish in 9th and 10th in the individual sprint. For this one, for me, it's really open, actually. And I think that's Victoria Heistad Bjornstad just come through there. got the French athlete through as well. This is Rita Marmarosi. And I think have we still got one person to come through? No, they're all going out onto their second route.
Quarterfinal, Vera Clementine, Victoria Hestapionzat, Inka Norin and Rita Maramarosi, Alva Svensson, Sweden, and Maya Bovier, France. And they already finished the first.
So going through there, Victoria Hestapionzat was in the lead, then 2 seconds behind it was Vera Clementinen, 9 seconds behind it was Inka Nurminen, Alva Sonnesson and Maya Bovier into 4th and 5th, and then Rita Marmarosi into 6th place. And I think, you know, I think this is a really, really open quarter-final. You've got 2 runners who are 9th and 10th, but Rita Marmarosi has shown good form. Alva Sonnesson showed really good form in the sprint relay yesterday. Maya Bovier was fab at the European Champs last year. So for me, this is yeah, you know, pretty much anybody in this start list could fancy their chances of making it through. No huge names in this one, and I think that's what makes it quite interesting and quite achievable for any of the athletes here to get through. On their second loop of 3, Rita Marmarosi on the northern loop there. Let's see who's the first athlete to come on through. It's going to be one of the Finns here as Inka Nurminen punches first. This is Alva Sonnesson. They've both just done the shortest school loop and are going to meet some of the others who've just done the castle loop. This is Vera Clementinen next through here. This is going to be third, but Victoria Hestapionzat got there first. There's Maya Bovier, a little bit behind at the moment, and Rita Marmarosi struggling here for the pace. She's still on that northern loop. I think she's probably got the shortest loop though last. So they'll all come back together again at the end of these 3 loops. So Alva Sonnesson, Victoria Hestapionzat there on the castle loop, going down towards these ruined walls, these walls that are crossable, and then back in through the castle. Lots of cobbles to contend with there as well. The running is not easy. Yeah, so you've got the different route choices within the kind of the natural barriers on that castle loop. You've got those artificial barriers on the school loop, the western one. You can go around the barriers towards the pond. You could go inside and outside of the school again. Loads and loads of different options that can be taken. And the key thing is, I mean, the features just come so fast when you're taking this pace. You've really got to be prepared and let the navigation really dictate the pace, because it's so easy to overshoot something. You could just go a few steps too far. But this is Alva Sonnesson, so this is the last time they're reaching this control. Just checking out the route choices here, but Alva Sonnesson, oh no, she's going to change her mind, is she indeed? And it allows Inka Nurminen to catch up. So these two, so you can see, gap of 7 seconds. She's lost 7 seconds there on that hesitation, not quite decided. Oh, super close here though with the athletes. Maya Bovier, Victoria Hestapionzat, Vera Clementinen, Rita Marmarosi. But it is Inka Nurminen in the lead with Alva Sonnesson there, and they're going through the castle, up these metal steps. Just on the right there, if you see, there is one of the controls from one of the loops. And they go through the gates here. Lots of gates opened up by the organisers today. And they'll wiggle through some of the small alleyways here. Straight through this alleyway, then they'll take a right-hand turn and go down towards the arena. And most people going this similar route, but Maya Bovier has gone down by the kind of a simpler route, simpler to execute, and she's gone down by the ruins. But behind the top 2 at the moment, Inka Nurminen and Alva Sonnesson for Finland and for Sweden. So they've just got the 14th and the 15th controls to go. They've got this hill climb here. A little bit of route choice for the last section. It was actually good not to go straight down the hill again. actually to cut through the alleyways. Natalia Gempler did a really, really good job with that, and that is what they're both going to do here. They're clear in this place, and Mel Bovir into fourth place. A good route choice for her. She went differently. We have the Norwegian Victoria Hestad Bjornstad in fourth, and this is fifth and sixth here, with Rita Mara Morosi just overtaking Vera Klemetten there to get herself into fifth place. There's still some running to do. It's still close here at the arena, and this is first and second. Oh, it's going to be a sprint out here. Victoria Hestad Bjornstad is currently in fourth place, but she's going to try and overtake Mel Bovir here. Alva Sondersen and Inka Nurminen through. I'm not sure who's got the third place though. Well, it's definitely not Rita Mara Morosi as it shows on the graphics there. I think we're going to have to wait for the picture there on this quarter final. So Alva Sondersen through, no problem there. Inka Nurminen through, no problem. But Victoria Hestad Bjornstad, I think, might have edged it over Mel Bovir. That's the first two through. Let's keep an eye on this. Yes, it is the Norwegian to make it through. Victoria Hestad Bjornstad just ahead of Mel Bovir. Great sprinting there from the Norwegian to get ahead. And we move on to the final quarter-final here. The 6th out of 6. And there's one big name here in this quarter-final. Simona Aebersold, third place in the individual sprint. She won the World Cup final knockout. She's got 2 bronzes in the World and the European Champs knockout. And with, actually from the World Champs, Tove Alexandersen won that. Caroline Olsen was second. They haven't made it through. So here we go. This is after the first loop, and that looks like Ida Agve Christiansen and Simona Aebersold through already. And we wait for the next athletes through. So Hannah Hilo, Kristin Melby Jakobsen, Deborah Sadler all through here. And for me, Simona Aebersold, the big favourite, probably Ida Agve Christiansen next, but then we've got Hannah Hilo, Kristin Melby Jakobsen, Alexandra Hornik, Deborah Stadler, maybe the Polish athlete to be the next one. It's so hard to tell. I'd expect Simona to have a lead here, but the rest could be really, really close. So Hannah Hilo from Finland on the Western School Loop here, and Alexandra Hornik on the Northern Loop, who will make it through next to the intermediate. This controller is Alexandra Hornik, and off to the shortest loop next, I think. But I think that was just the first time she was around there, so maybe some issues for the Polish athlete here, which we didn't capture as she heads out, I think, to her second loop. Next to come in, it's going to be hard to tell, so we've got a couple of minutes. This looks like Simona Aebersold here, approaching from the northwest. There she goes, and still neck and neck with Ida Agve Christiansen from Denmark. Both have one loop still to go. There's Hannah Hilo from Finland into third place. So we've got the few on the easterly loop still to come in. Kristin Melby Jakobsen and Deborah Sadler just a little bit behind here. They go in towards the school though. And they're on the third and final loop here. this 6th of 6 quarterfinals. Only the top 3 to make it through. Then they'll have a little rest before doing the semi-final, trying to make it into the top 2 on that one. Alexandra Hornick on her way into the central control here, but I think she's a loop behind. I think. There is the Polish athlete, and I think one more loop still to go. Lots of marshalling now being done by the athletes, by the volunteers here, and this is Simona Abersold, and this is the lead here. Just checking the route choices through towards control number 14, but Simona Abersold in with the lead here. We'll follow her down through the castle, taking the route that we've seen a lot of those doing. She's just being a little bit careful here. Ida Agve Christiansen is in second place, and these two, well, Simona Abersold, no surprise here, looking clear. And actually, she's going to go the bottom routes via the ruins. This is the way that Mel Bovir went in the last one. Hannah Hilo is in third at the moment, and this is also Kristin Melby Jakobsen in fourth, and for Switzerland, Deborah Stadler in fifth. Alexandra Hornick still on a previous loop. We're behind the leader. This is Simona Abersold. And often when we've had it being at the same route for everybody, we've seen her push ahead. This is what happened to Alexandra Hornick. She went in the northern side of the hedge and the control was on the southern side. So that's the mistake. That's what's put the pole nearly a whole loop behind, but we're behind the leader here, and often when it's a head-to-head race, when they've all got the same course, we just see Simona Abersold push the pace and make a gap here. She's been able to do that again when we've got these loops controls, and I think the athletes will have expected something a bit more complicated than a straight quarterfinal where everybody has the same course, based on the antics that were in play at the World Cup final, which was also held in Switzerland at the back end of last season, where we had pretty much every single option offered to the athletes in terms of going through all the rounds. Different options. Hannah Hilo here in third place, and this looks quite clear at the moment. She's going to head straight back down again. And we have the next athletes. We've got the Norwegian Kristin Melby Jakobsen, but a jog across the line for Simona Abersold. A jog across the line for Ida Agve Christiansen, and for me, yeah, those two were the favourites for this one. Definitely Simona Abersold, Ida Agve Christiansen as well. Easy peasy for them. Let's see who's going to get the third and final spot. We should have the athletes coming in here. Yeah, it's going to be fairly straightforward, I think, here for Hannah Hilo from Finland, and then a fight here between Deborah Stadler and the Norwegian Kristin Melby Jakobsen. Oh, gutted for her there to end up into the 5th spot. And Alexandra Hornick, with a mistake, will finish into 6th. But clear, easy running there for Simona Abersold. 7 minutes 50 in the end. Pia Young-Vick was 7:52, Sanna Fass was 7:49, Cecilia Solandri 7:55, Hannah Lundberg 7:47, Alva Sonesson 7:50, and Simona Abersold 7:50. Very, very even, to be honest, across all for the winning times across all of those. But we're going to move already on to the men's quarterfinals, and this men's competition for me is going to be so interesting. But my gosh, everybody through this first control all together. Thomas Heikkilä followed by Pete Malloy. With 20 seconds then back to Arni Ronkanen, Lucas Novak, Araho and Gustav Runefors. Thomas Heikkilä, the big favourite for me in this quarterfinal. He was third in Alton, was 6th in Uster, so 2 finals for him in recent years in the knockout, and he was also 4th in the individual sprint on Friday. So we will wait and see. But this men's competition is so interesting because if you look back to the results from the European Championships, all of the medalists there have failed to qualify. from Friday's sprint. So August Mullane, he was a European champion. He was 43rd. Jonathan Gustafsson was second in the European champs. He mispunched. And Akseli Ruohola from Finland was third at the European champs. He was 45th. He missed the cut as well. We don't have any of the medalists from the World Championships here either. Ricardo Rankin, who won it, he's injured. Jürgen Backlid from Norway, he's not here. And of course, Jonathan Gustafsson from Sweden, as I said, did not qualify. And these heats, I think, are all fairly even as Thomas Hakeler comes through to this central control again. Oh, nice agility, quick turning around there, really good. That's Gustav Runefors into second, 4 seconds down. And here comes the next runner. This is the Austrian, Lukas Novak, after that route. Here's another of the Finns. This is Alo Aho in alongside Pete Malloy. And also it's Ani Rankinen inside alongside Pete Malloy and Alo Aho. So still one more loop to go. Yeah, so a lot of the recent winners of medals and things at the European champs, the world champs, not here. So for me, I mean, the men's race is always super open, but it makes it even more open now as well. We do have the winner of the World Cup final here, Tino Polsini, who go in the second heat. And as I said, I do think there's not one really tricky heat here, I think. Maybe the third one. Yeah, probably the third one, if any of them. But for me, Thomas Hakeler, the big favourite in this heat. And all of the athletes now on their third and final loop. See Gustav Runefors and Pete Malloy on the Castle loop. Thomas Hakeler and Lukas Novak on, I think, the longest of the loops, the northern one, and around the streets. And the western one is where they've opened up a school. It used to be kind of a cloisters section, monastery, and it's now a school, and they've opened up all of that as well. So this is the central control as they come to this for the last time, the fourth time. And this is the lead here. Two Finns. Oh, close here. Runefors just getting ahead, and down. Getting up quickly. There's 3 Finns there, all within a few seconds of each other. There's Pete Malloy, but into 6th place. Lukas Novak is in 5th. And they're actually all going to go down towards the streets here. This is the replay of this collision. Ooh, tricky. Orienteering is not meant to be a contact sport, but sometimes in the knockout it gets like that. Hakeler's put his foot on the gas here to try and get away from the others as they pass the ruins. They're in the arena. The other two taking a different route choice here. We'll see what pays off. I think when you're down in 5th and 6th, you have to do something different to compared to that leading pack, and this is already much closer than we've seen on some of the women's classes, with Thomas Hakeler leading the way. They will cut through to the left and go up the track towards the 14th control. Then they've got a choice again to go back down this alleyway, or they could cut towards the right, just trying to look ahead. It looks like they all go right and trying to spot, oh no, someone coming back the other way. But for me, I think Lukas Novak and Pete Malloy out of it there. Different route from Novak being taken, and Arni Ronkanen is the one to come down the way he came up. But here comes Thomas Hakeler. We have Gustav Runefors is next, and then Alo Aho from Finland. There's his teammate Arni Ronkanen just bringing up the rear, but in the end Hakeler takes it ahead of Gustav Runefors, and Alo Aho is the third to qualify, so only the top 3 to qualify. Ronkanen just a few seconds out. Then Lukas Novak and Pete Malloy have been taking different route choices towards this 4th control. They will come through next. Okay, straight on then to quarterfinal number 2 to find the men who will join Thomas Hakeler, Alo Aho and Gustav Runefors into the semi-final number 1. We've got the winner of the knockout sprint at the World Cup final here, the winner from Friday's individual sprint, Tino Polsini, starting here, and he really enjoyed the technicality of that individual sprint, so I think this could suit him really, really well. We've also got Isaac von Krusenfreund. You can see they're on the same loop at the moment. We'll be really pushing the speed high. Here he comes. This is the shorter of the 3 loops. slightly through there into first and second. Isaac von Krusenfreiner and Tino Polsini, the two favourites for me in this route. They just got to avoid the others coming through the gap here. We've got Rito Ecker there, and we've got the French athlete, that's Romain Pichard. So they're through next, and we've got the two who've done the top loop coming through now. Still some recovery needed. That's Alfred Bjørnerod from Norway coming through, and I think we had Ferenc Jonas from Hungary also through after that top loop. Okay, so on the second of the two loops now. So whoever you were running with, basically, so if you did loop A with somebody else, then you'll run B and they'll run C, or the other way around. So there's basically 6 ways these loops, 6 different orders that these loops can be run in. So it means every athlete has a completely different map. So you'll start off, you'll run the first loop with somebody else, and then you'll split up from them. And it's so hard for them, for us, to know who is in the lead until they've done all 3 loops as well. But it just builds the stress, and part of it, for me, part of doing the knockout sprint really well is just being able to adapt to any situation, because they could have all had a quarterfinal here where they all had the same map, all had the same controls in the same order, and you could slow it down. It could be run a bit like an athletics race on the track sometimes, where they slow it down and then have a sprint finish right at the end. It's absolutely legit to run it that way. But this, splitting the athletes up, forces them to run hard. And Isaac von Krusenfreiner here, making it look easy. Tino Polsini coming the other way. Rita Ecker into third place at the moment. So 2 Swiss in the top 3, a little bit of a gap here, but then of course I think Rita Ecker there just going to run the longest loop there. There's the Hungarian French Jonas just in the left of picture. There's Romain Pichard from France. So many French athletes qualified through to the final, to the quarterfinals. A reminder, that was the top 36 men, top 36 women from Friday's race, which meant we had quite a few people who did not make it from there. Okay, so on their third and final loop. Yeah, August Mullane didn't make it through. Jonathan Gustafsson didn't make it through. Neither did Akseli Rohola, so that's the top 3 in the European champs. Did not make it through already. But now we will... Yeah, just opens it up, and it's always so close in the men's race. So they're on their way back now towards the central control. And Tino Polsini, the winner from Friday, in the lead with Isaac von Krusenfreiner in second place. And for me, these were the 2 favourites from this one. They just got to, I mean, the danger of these loops, you've got so many runners running head to head. Rita Ecker is in third, then Romain Pichard, Ferenc Jonas there, just taking the U-turn here and going back out towards the castle. Here they go through this section, and high speed then from Tino Polsini and from Isaac von Krusenfreiner. They've got a decent gap here. They've got a gap of 10 seconds back to Rito Ecker from Switzerland. Another 3 seconds back to Romain Pichard. Alfred Bjørnerod is out of it there for me. He's too far behind. Just punched the intermediate control, the central control. So we will watch Tino Polsini here. This is a different route, going through the next alleyway and up towards the top. Ferenc Jonas going down. So we follow. This is Rito Ecker here. Chasing the leaders. As you can see, the different route choices here, just losing the GPS a little bit between the buildings. But we'll see them into the arena very, very soon. And we'll manage to make sense of all of these route choices, different route choices into towards Control 14. Who's going to come out first? Tino Polsini. No problems here from the World Cup final winner. Isaac von Krusenpuerner, former sprint world champion, and there's a fight. There is a fight for third here, and is it the Hungarian who's going to make it? Rita Egger looks like he's given up there, and it is Ferenc Jonas who have made it, and that was, for me, the route choice to control 14. That absolutely did it for him. So Polsini and von Krusenpuerner through, no problems, but great to see the Hungarian make it into the mix to join Thomas Heikeler, Aro Aho, and Gustav Brunefors for the first semi-final. A jog across the line from Friday's winner. Easy two for Isaac von Krusenpuerner. He'd already put in all the hard work. And a few look backs there for Ferenc Jonas from Hungary. He's made it through to the semi-final. Great job there. And here we have Alfred Bienerud into the finish, Norwegian. And we can move very quickly on towards the third quarter-final, seeing the start list there. This one for me very open. Francesco Mariani was 7th on Friday. Timo Oxmanen was 9th. Matthias Baravaye was the European sprint champion. He was 10th on Friday. But we've also got Fabian Abersold in there. He took a bronze medal in the World Cup final in Uster. Has had some, just not quite got the navigation quite right this weekend so far. But we had Timo Oxmanen and Francesco Mariani through there first. Mathieu Perrin from France, Fabian Abersold through next. Then Axel Granqvist and Mathieu Baravaye in, actually quite a long way down at the moment for the Frenchman, the European individual sprint champion. So they've done their first loop already. They're going to head out towards the second loop. You can see Fabian Abersold, Mathieu Baravaye in the school at the moment, going through the middle of the courtyard. Mathieu Perrin, Francesco Mariani from Italy have got the castle section here. And Axel Granqvist and Timo Oxmanen both have the street section. As you head into that second control, if you approach it from the north, you kind of go in this small little passage by a hedge. It's like you're going to someone's back garden, kind of. Okay, here we are after the second of the 3 loops. The distinctive running style of Fabian Abersold going through that section. Just got to avoid that. And that is Mathieu Perrin and Francesco Mariani. But we've also had Timo Oxmanen just flash through there as well. This is Axel Granqvist from Sweden. And Mathieu Baravaye has also come through. And now just the last loop to go. So the shortest one, the quickest one certainly, whether it's the shortest or not, it's flat, it's got some quite wide corners, is actually this one on the west through the courtyard. The one that Mathieu Baravaye and Francesco Mariani are on, that's the one that's typically been the slowest. So, it'll be tricky for Mathieu Baravaye to qualify, I think, from that position. He was in last place the last time they went to the central control, and he's still got the longest bit to go next. But Fabian Abersold, I think, is already pretty much making his way back to the one control to go, then making his way back towards the central point. And you could tell he started off super aggressively. Fabian Abersold, and will he be the first one back? I expect to see him through very soon. Here he is. You can tell, look at how closely he's reading that map. Just getting the route choice here. He's got to be careful of runners coming the other way. So that's the 4th time he's been to that control. And there he will start the journey back towards the arena. Axel Granqvist and Mathieu Perrin punch there, both 7 seconds down. Timo Oxmanen 13 seconds down. Top 3 to go through. Here's Mathieu Baravaye going a different way here. Francesco Mariani. Is he going to follow the Frenchman? Yes, Mariani currently in 6th, 21 seconds down. It's not over yet. Here's the leader. Fabian Abersold had a 7-second lead at the central control after all 3 loops. He's being followed by Mathieu Perrin and Axel Granqvist, all going the same way. Team Oxford, I think, a slightly different way here. And cutting through. In fact, this is a little bit differently to what we've seen some of the others do. Go down this narrower alleyway here. You can see these paving slabs in the middle, but in fact the others have all followed him. Not, I think, the quickest way, but Mathieu Perrin and Axel Granqvist both chasing Fabien Abersold, and they are the top 3 at the moment. And from the route choices there to 14, I think they will be a clear top 3. Team at Oxenden is the next chaser. And where do they go? Back down the slope. Not all of them. Mathieu Perrin continuing. There's Mathieu Baravalle climbing up the hill on the left, the Frenchman. There's Francesco Mariani, and the top 2 are here. But Mathieu Perrin's gone a different way. I think it's going to make much of a difference here. In fact, there we go. There they all are, all through here. Good route for Mathieu Perrin, but there's 3 athletes here. Fabien Abersold enjoying crossing the line here. Very happy with that. Pumping himself up. Mathieu Perrin second, Axel Granqvist third. In the end, fairly clear for the top 3. Team Oxenden cross the line next. Mathieu Baravalle and Mariani will bring up the rear somewhere from that one. So Abersold made it through alongside Axel Granqvist and Mathieu Perrin, and in fact they were the 3 who've missed out, were the 3 that had the better results in the individual sprint, the time trial. But on the home soil, Fabien Abersold very, very happy with that. He's now got to go and do some recovery, ready for the semi-finals. So we move on to quarterfinal number 4. Already halfway through the men's competition in this quarterfinals. And they are going to head towards the Old Town. So this next one, fairly open. Well, for me, we've got... seeing some of the athletes through there, we had Erik Langadal Breivik, one of the favourites here, won sprint medals before. Thomas Krivter, of course, was second on Friday. Benjamin Way was 8th. He's made a good start. And this is Quentin Andrieux from France, running alongside the last one, Florian Attinger, I think, there. And in fact, this is David Rojas from Spain is going there into 6th place. So all 6 athletes through at the moment. Yeah, David Rojas proving to find it difficult at the moment. But Benjamin Way and Erik Langadal Breivik came through that central point pretty much together, but they had a 20-second lead over Thomas Krivter and Florian Attinger. And it kind of, sometimes, I mean, it's the luck of the draw who you're paired with on that first loop. If you're, you know, you can get paired with someone really good, and both of you can be really pushing the pace, be really active in your orienteering. It can make it quicker, but it's up to you to really, you know, push that pace, push the navigation. And this is Benjamin Way here in the lead after 2 or 3 loops. I mean, you can't really properly say in the lead, but there's Erik Langadal Breivik and Thomas Krivter. Both have just done different loops there. Here is Florian Attinger, next one's punch. And we've still got a couple more athletes come through looking for the French and Spanish vests. So you see Quentin Andrieux still doing the northern loop. Benjamin Way, who was in the lead, just started that one. Great result for Benjamin Way, who was 8th in the individual. Here's Andrieux and David Rojas, both going through there. That's in 5th and 6th. They're about 45 seconds down. But we can't really say who is properly in the lead until they've done all 3 loops. They are all slightly different distances. So Benjamin Ray, Thomas Krivda, both of them together on the northern loop. Erik Langedal Breivik in the castle at the moment, but heading back towards the central loop. And here they come. Now they've done all 3 loops. You can really get a sense of it. Here's the Swiss athlete Benjamin Ray, and he's just hesitating there. There's Thomas Krivda. When you're in the lead like that, you know, you can have that hesitation. If the other guys are more prepared, it allows them to close the gap. And we've got 3 clear here. Benjamin Ray, Thomas Krivda, and Erik Langedal Breivik. For me, the 3 favourites here in this route. Climbing up the steps here. Just going to be checking there. It must be David Rojas from Spain. But Florian Attinger is only a few seconds down. 6 seconds down behind these 3 here. They go through the little alleyway. You've got to be careful. You can't go straight down there towards the right. There's a barrier in the way there. And they continue all the way down towards the arena. This is the most popular route that we've seen. So gone through the little alleyway and now down towards the arena. Florian Attinger a little bit further behind. I think this is the clearest cut one. Florian Attinger might choose a different way. I think he does, to try and see if he can do something different to catch up the other guys. I think he will be slower though, and these 3 are clear which way they're going to go. They're all going to go the same way. No problem for any of the athletes here. Benjamin Ray, Thomas Krivda, and Erik Langedal Breivik. They've got a gap, and Breivik looks behind. He'll soon know that they are absolutely clear here. No problems for any of these guys to make it through. Definitely the 3 favourites on paper here. Benjamin Ray looking very impressive. Thomas Krivda was second in the individual. Erik Langedal Breivik, a medalist at sprints. So easy peasy for them, making it through to join Axel Brandqvist, Fabian Abelsold and Mathieu Perrin in the second semi-final. No real surprises so far. None of the big favourites you'd say doing a shocker, missing out. But still proving exciting is head-to-head racing and a men's competition where we've got none of the European or world champs medalists making it through to the knockout rounds. Either all just finding Friday sprint too tricky, or like Ricardo Rancan, the reigning world champion, out with injury. So we moved to quarterfinal number 5 of 6. So 6 athletes to go, 3 to make it through to the semi-finals. They'll be put into 3 semi-finals of 6, and then the top 2 to make it through. This is Casper Fosse with Zoltan Budoso trailing him. Casper Fosse and Zoltan Budoso, for me, the top 2 favourites in this race. The Hungarian was 5th in the individual sprint. Casper Fosse, he's made a final before. Of course, he did the key part of the Norwegian team to win the sprint relay yesterday. The king of the long distance. He's actually only got 1 knockout sprint medal, does Casper Fosse. That was back in European Champs 2021, held in Neuchâtel in Switzerland. So back in Switzerland here, and made a good start. So we had Casper Fosse and Zoltan Budoso in the lead. 20 seconds later, Timo Suter and Jakob Glonek. And then 7 seconds behind that, Otto Kallio and Santeri Kirjavainen. The 2 Finns running that first loop together. Now we have Zoltan Budoso, Jakob Glonek from Czechia on the northern route. That's the longest of the loops there. Casper Fosse nearly coming back from the castle already. He's catching up with one of the Finns. This is, I think this is Otto Kallio. This is a section of the castle that we kind of haven't really seen before. Goes out and back in here. So that was Otto Kallio here. Casper Fosse has already come through this control. Here's Zoltan Budoso from Hungary. And they've still got another loop to go. Timo Suter in the pink headband for Switzerland. Now go and do the longest loop. And that's Santeri Kirjavainen from Finland. Still one more loop to go before we really properly get a sense of who's in what position. It's confusing for you guys watching at home. It's confusing for the athletes as well, as they can't spend too much energy thinking about where they are in the race. They've just got to focus on their own performance and push hard and trust that it's going to be enough. Get the balance of the speed and the navigation so tricky. As Otto Kallio, I think, goes there for the western loop. Not actually taking the shortest route to the first control of that western loop, the school loop. So Kasper Fosse, Zoltan Budoso and Timo Suter all making their way back towards the central control here. This is the 4th time they'll punch it. It's the last time, and we will see them make their way towards the arena after that. Here's the Hungarian in the lead here, Zoltan Budoso, ahead of Kasper Fosse. What a great run here from the Hungarian. Will he be the second Hungarian to make it through to the final? Kasper Fosse has punched there. He's 9 seconds down. Timo Suter only 4 seconds after that. And through the castle route here, this has been the kind of the favourite route choice. And Kasper Fosse going the same way. Timo Suter goes a different way, going around on the flatter section, where you can maybe get a little bit of higher speed. But I mean, they've been through here so many times already. It's kind of become familiar. It means you can really attack it. There you can see the different route being taken by Timo Suter. In fact, actually, Kasper Fosse goes all the way down to the bottom there. That, I think, has proved good previously. He was 4 seconds, in fact, he was 9 seconds down at the last intermediate, but we follow the leader here. And very impressive from Zoltan Budoso from Hungary. He had the same loop as Kasper Fosse in the start, but he has executed it better than the Norwegian here. This is looking very good. Will he go turn around and go back down? He does. Got to avoid our camera operator here. And we can see Kasper Fosse coming up the hill. He knows exactly the gap. Kasper Fosse gritting his teeth. He nearly misses the control. Don't think it's going to matter. Here's Timo Suter in 3rd place. And that's Jakob Blonek in 4th place. He looks like he's not quite got the legs, though. They open the gap up a little bit here. Here's one of the Finns to chase here. But what an impressive run from Zoltan Budoso, who's 5th in the individual sprint. Very impressive work from the Hungarian. Here comes Kasper Fosse into 2nd place. No problems for him. And Timo Suter looks like he's got the legs to make it through across the line in 3rd place. Timo Suter does also qualify. Fantastic result there. Jakob Blonek just run out of it, and we've still got the 2 Finns to come through. Here they come. That is Santeri Kirjavainen and Otto Kallio still on his way towards the end. Well, the athletes will have, well, Jakob Blonek won't, but the athletes will still have 2 more races to come today. Timo Suter certainly got 1 more race to go. He's got to recover, refuel, try and rest up before warming up again for the semi-final. But we can move to the last of our quarter-finals today. I say 12 races on the same map, but it's always interesting. And we've got Yannick Michels going in this one for Belgium, the 3rd place from Friday's individual sprint. And here he comes through here, alongside the Frenchman Guillaume Verhove. And in fact, I think Yannick's never made a knockout final. He is much generally better at that individual sprint, where it's just a little bit longer. He says he's not quite as fast as some of the younger guys, as some of the other athletes come through here. Adrian Delaine and Emil Svensk, with Howard Sansad Eidsmo and Daniel Hubman just crossing there as well. So they've done their first loop. Now they cross back out to the next ones as well. So Emil Svensk and Guillaume Verhove on the northern route in the streets. Yannick Michels and Howard Sansad Eidsmo on the castle loop. It's just quite fun running through a castle, to be honest. And then Daniel Hubben and Adrien Delaine on the loop in the school. And Adrien Delaine actually was really impressive in the sprint relay yesterday. Kept really high pace, especially on the first half of the race. But this bit is, you know, it's much more technical compared to yesterday's sprint relay, which is a lot of the flatter, faster, the kind of new town part of Locarno. This is proper in the old town, really interesting races. So they're on their second loop out of 3. So we won't really get a sense of how the standings are until they come to this point another time. But from France, Adrien Delaine, then Guillaume Verove, 2 Frenchmen here within 2 seconds. Here's Yannick Nickels. And he's still got one more loop to go. In 3rd place at the moment. So take that with a pinch of salt. So still got another one to go. This is like a Swedish vest here. This is Emil Svensk in the headband. Daniel Hubben, though, also in the headband, going through there as well. Let's see what these 2 athletes can do. And on the 3rd and final loop, you can see them going through the small streets. I mean, there's loads of different route choices here. But these athletes mostly sticking together here. I mean, sometimes it's distracting to have another runner alongside you. Sometimes it's actually very straight, you know, really can kind of get you to keep that speed really high. And if somebody's hesitating ahead of you, you can just nip in there and get the control. So a few more controls to go, and then we will have them all back at this central control for the last time. Last time in the broadcast we will see this one. Oh, if you're wondering where Jonas is, by the way, he's doing Fiesta Liga. He will be back for the semi-finals and the finals, but he is currently commentating on relay races happening in Finland at the moment. So maybe you've got 2 screens up, maybe you already knew that. But the 2 French guys, strong work from Delaine and Verove here. And they're going to go the same route here. Here comes Mikkels. Is it going to be enough for him to get into 3rd place at the moment? We've got Svensk and Eidsmo also coming in here as well. So Mikkels in 3rd, but it's very close between Svensk and Hovatsans and Eidsmo here. So 3rd to 5th, very close together. The top 3 to go through. The Frenchmen are clear. And they're taking this kind of top flatter route now. Got to be careful of the barriers. There's Daniel Hubben in 6th place. And lots of different routes. Hovatsans said Eidsmo's actually gone all the way down to the ruins and along the bottom. But here's the 2 French guys around this corner into on the edges of the arena and go back up the hill to the 14th control. These 2 teammates pushing each other here. They take a sneaky look back. And of course, if they drop down here, they'll be able to see the others. I think it's Guillaume Verove here just getting ahead of his teammates. They're going to go different ways here. And Verove will go down the slope here. Here's Mikkels. He's going to fight against Emil Svensk and Hovatsans and Eidsmo. And he's just got to push here on this last stage. He actually goes the longer way, does the Belgian. It's going to be a fight for 3rd place. Arms flailing everywhere here. Let's see who's going to be the top 3. The 2 French guys are clear. Guillaume Verove and Adrien Delaine in that order, punching the air. Great result for France, and there's a sprint here for the 3rd place. I think Mikkels has done enough to take it. Happy there for Yannick Mikkels, the 3rd place from the sprint on Friday. He joins the 2 Frenchmen across the line, and we know our semi-finalists now with Emil Svensk just missing out. Just over a second there. Great work from Guillaume Verove. Looked very, very strong up the hill there. Took a different route out. Actually went straight back down the hill. Adrien Delaine went the other way, and it was indeed Yannick Mikkels who took 3rd place. Joining Casper Harlem-Fossa, Zoltan Budozo and Timo Suter in the 3rd and final semi-final. Goodness me, I feel like I've barely stopped for a breath there amongst these 12 quarterfinals. And there you can see that's the confirmation of how the semi-finals are going to stack up then for the sprints, for the knockout sprints for the women. Thierry Zero, Pia Young, Vic Grace Malloy, such a stacked semi-final number 1. Hannah Lundberg, Cécile Calandry and Natalia Gempler all in semi-final number 2. And Simona Abbasol, the big name, in semi-final number 3. This is how the men are going to shape up. Great to see such a mixture of nations. We've got 2 Hungarians in there as well. Heikela, Tino Polsini, Zach von Krusenfrenner looked fantastic in semi-final number 1. They're going to go there. Fabian Abbasol looked delighted to make it through. We've also got Benjamin Way, another Swiss there. Fantastic job from him, joining him in semi-final number 2. Kasper Fossa making it into semi-final number 3 as well. So yeah, going to be super exciting. I'm going to take a short break. We'll be back in just under an hour, in about 50 minutes time. I hope you enjoyed watching our quarterfinals. Do tune back in just less than an hour's time at 1 o'clock local time, where we're going to bring you the semi-finals and straight through into the finals. I'm going to grab some lunch, but do join us back again, because there is more chaos to come, more fantastic orienteering and head-to-head racing. So we'll see you very soon.